Hi, everybody. I'm Lauren Zima. Welcome to ET Live.
That's right. I'm Denny, Directo. We're here to give you guys a full recap of the Golden Globe Awards that just happened right now.
Oh my gosh, you guys. I was on the red carpet talking to as many people as I could flag down, and Denny has been glued to the TV, so we know exactly what happened for the past few hours. We're going to go through the biggest moments, the surprises, snubs of the night, but of course, we want to know what you think. How did you feel about the Time's Up movement, about the winners? Let us know in the comments. We will get them right here. So I know you want to lead us off.
I mean, I think it's the most talked about moment right now from the Golden Globe Awards, and I'm talking about, of course, Oprah's powerful Cecil B. DeMille acceptance speech. I mean, she truly brought down the house and really took the moment to send a very powerful message to everyone watching. And in case you missed it, we have a quick little look for you now.
For too long, women have not been heard or believed if they dared to speak their truth to the power of those men. But their time is up.
Oprah right there, of course, talking about the Time's Up movement. She really paid tribute to all the women affected by sexual abuse, and she took the moment to really send out a message of hope, in my opinion. And I'm telling you, she's always been a wealth of wisdom, right? But no, I feel like we needed her words now more than ever, especially in that moment.
I think this speaks to and kind of summarizes exactly what an incredibly special night this was. Frances McDormand won at the end of the night for a Best Actress in a Motion Picture Drama, and she said, you know, you can feel what's happening here tonight, and I think we could feel it through the screen. Absolutely. Because 75th Annual Golden Globe Awards, Oprah, first black woman to get that prestigious Cecil B. DeMille Award, and of all people, Oprah, this incredibly iconic woman, to get it on a night when the Time's Up movement is in the room and when women are talking about bringing women to the forefront. It was like everything came together so beautifully.
And honestly, that's what I love so much about that speech is she really, I mean, she touched on every base, right? Not only did she speak to the Time's Up movement, but she put it in historical context, how significant that moment for her was. You know, she talked about Sidney Poitier, watching him accept the Cecil B. DeMille Award, and her realizing in that moment that young girls are watching her be the first African-American woman to accept the same honor. I mean, chills.
And I think that's why on Twitter, very quickly, it started trending, you know, Oprah for President 2020. Seth Meyers even made a joke about it. He said something like, Oprah's going to be president and Tom Hanks can be her VP. So I talked to Gayle King, of course, Oprah's bestie, on the red carpet, and I love this. She said, let me tell you this, Oprah was still working on her speech in the car on the way to the Globes. Yeah. That's what a perfectionist Oprah is. And she said that yesterday at rehearsal, they told her, Oprah, you need to cut 3 minutes.
It's too long, right.
Oprah wasn't going to cut 3 minutes, you guys.
You can't tell Oprah to shave her speech down. I mean, I will say she got a very well-deserving standing ovation, and she even wanted them to sit down because I think she knew she had a lot to say. She had to get it out there. And I mean, really, it struck a chord with a lot of people, not only in the audience, not only us at the office, but I think all of you guys watching at home, too. It's pretty amazing, right?
Yeah, and so many great women in the room. I mean, Reese Witherspoon introduced and gave that award to her. They worked on the movie A Wrinkle in Time together, and so many great women in that movie. And Reese Witherspoon was really the one spearheading Time's Up. You guys, it's just all so copacetic.
We want to hear from you guys. You guys aren't freaking out enough about Oprah. Let's hear what you guys think of her amazing, amazing emotional speech. I mean, I can't say enough.
Oh, I can't also say enough about the little moment that came right after Oprah's speech. Almost forgot about this, you guys. So the Time's Up movement was a thread, and again, bringing women to the forefront was a focus of the night. And Natalie Portman has Twitter and social media on fire with this little quip. Right after Oprah's speech, Natalie comes out with Ron Howard, and they're about to introduce some nominees. And here's what Natalie Portman said.
And here are the all-male nominees. For The Shape of Water, Guillermo del Toro.
I gotta say, I felt for Guillermo del Toro because he's the first nominee read from the list and the first person they show on camera after she makes that quip. She's, of course, referencing the fact that no female directors were nominated this year for a Golden Globe.
Yeah, it was a big deal this year. I talked to Laurie Metcalf on the carpet. She's in, of course, Lady Bird, which, if I'm correct, still holds the record. It definitely broke the record as being the best reviewed movie on aggregator Rotten Tomatoes of all time. And Greta Gerwig did not get a Best Director nomination for that. A lot of people spoke to the fact that Patty Jenkins didn't get a nomination for Wonder Woman. Laurie Metcalf straight up told me on the red carpet, I was really disappointed in that news. And so Oprah just gives this great speech, and then Natalie Portman comes out and says, and here are the nominees. They're all men.
By the way, Natalie Portman's standing next to a very acclaimed male director. I mean, power to her for speaking up, and especially because it's so hard to follow that speech that Oprah gave. But again, I just felt a little bad for Guillermo del Toro.
I know.
I mean,
You know
obviously
what?
he can't control
Of course, and all
what
the
the
men.
HFPA thinks, yeah.
And all the male directors, you could see as they panned each one of them, their faces fell a little bit. And look, they're all incredibly talented, made some incredibly amazing movies this year, of course, and the nominations are always a tight race. But again, it's just something that had to be called out tonight.
Something that had to be called out tonight, and I think a lot of people had a lot to say, and I just have to give props to Seth Meyers. I thought he was just the perfect host for this year's Golden Globes. Obviously, he's always found that balance between politics and comedy, and he did that in his monologue this year, don't you think?
I thought it was borderline to perfection.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I get that when you're dealing with the subject matter he's dealing with, some people might have felt that he went a little too far at points, but every time it felt like he went a little too far, he acknowledged it. He said, okay, you know, or, wait, if you thought that was bad, let me now say this. He was the perfect choice to me to balance, like you said, the political feel and the issues in the room with bringing some comedy and some levity to it at the same time.
Because he could have not addressed it, you know? He could have not.
He could have not. He maybe went too far again at some moments.
Let's
take a listen. Yeah. Let's take a listen here.
Well, I think it's time to address the elephant not in the room. Harvey Weinstein isn't here tonight because, well, I've heard rumors that he's crazy and difficult to work with.
He went for it. He made jokes about Harvey Weinstein, about Kevin Spacey. He said the names, and I have to say, I think that there was a bold thought behind that. And I felt like overall his monologue really, really worked because he, like he said, it's the elephant in the room. Everybody in Hollywood knew these people. He just acknowledged it.
He also didn't waste any time, which I appreciated. You know, he's like, let's just get right to it. He didn't hold anything back. And I don't think the host of the Golden Globes at this particular moment in time should hold back. You know what I mean? So I thought, and of course, this is a Hollywood event honoring other people in Hollywood. How could you not bring up Harvey Weinstein? You know what I mean? And he did so, I thought, so effortlessly and so hilariously. And also, you know, he did at the same time acknowledge all the women, all the powerful women in that room. So like I said, I thought it was balanced and he struck all the right chords.
I thought it was also perfect that he even said, I get that I'm a male hosting this show. Yeah. You know, he made a joke about that. Several jokes, actually. He said, I get it. I'm like a straight white guy up here hosting this show. And what we're really talking about tonight is bringing more diversity to this show. So he acknowledged it. And, oh, here it comes. The love for Oprah.
Thank you, guys.
Tweets from you guys. Amen to Oprah from M. Davidson. Mike Demir says, Oprah 2020.
She has said she doesn't want to run.
Oh, you guys, and we're actually just hearing this now. So we've got an amazing little ET group text where we've got people at all the different parties all night long. And by the way, we'll bring you the behind-the-scenes info. But Amy Kaufman, who's a friend of mine, a reporter from the LA Times, just tweeted that she asked Stedman if Oprah would run for president, and Stedman said, quote, it's up to the people. She would absolutely do it.
Well, in that case, I changed my mind. Oprah, we need you. We desperately need you.
Oprah.
I mean, come on. Okay, well, she is a woman of the people, you know? You know, you mentioned a lot of people had something to say. You know, something that Oprah actually mentioned in her speech that she also acknowledged was the men in the room who are also listening, who are not only staying there in solidarity, but they're listening. And, you know, we have to acknowledge some really good men who were honored tonight. There was a lot of amazing people who walked across that stage and gave some very powerful speeches. I want to talk about one history maker this year, Sterling K. Brown. He accepted the Golden Globe for Best Actor in a Drama TV series for This Is Us. And he actually made history becoming the first African-American man to accept that trophy, which one isn't a feat, period. That's a feat in itself. But when we talked to him on the red carpet, he also wore a pin, basically to acknowledge that he is ready and looking forward to projects that are written, directed, produced, and starring women. In fact, he told us who his dream, which female director he would dream to work with. Take a look.
But the director of Wonder Woman, which was one of my favorite films of the year, so Kim, that would be exciting.
Yeah, Patty, that would be fantastic. Yeah, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. All right, okay, so let's talk about this.
Patty Jenkins.
Patty Jenkins. You know what, Sterling? You're going to have to get in line, though. I think there are a lot of people who want to work with Patty Jenkins, but that was at the top of his list. And he also mentioned Regina King had directed an episode of This Is Us, and she was sensational. But he said that he's really driven and motivated by stories from a female perspective. And that's kind of, it's a powerful message to send, especially right now.
I have to say, I talked to so many men tonight. First of all, every single one of them was wearing black. And again, if you guys didn't know, it was just a message sent through Hollywood that everybody was going to wear black tonight in solidarity with women. And a lot of people were wearing those Time's Up pins, which is actually for the Time's Up Legal Defense Fund, started by some really strong women in Hollywood, including Reese Witherspoon, who had the piece designed for tonight. So it was just a cool night. But yeah, so many men. I mean, you know, I talked to Hugh Jackman, and he said, I actually heard about all this through the press. I didn't have any like Hollywood best friend who gave me a call, but I said, of course I'm getting in on this. He had the pin. You know, Justin Hartley from This Is Us is there talking about, hey, I've got a 13-year-old daughter I'm raising, my wife, my amazing female co-stars. It was so many men saying tonight is about them.
Absolutely.
And putting the focus on those other women, and it was really, I cried on the red carpet. I did. I teared up a little bit.
How could you not?
It was awesome.
It's an emotional moment. I think that's why they all wanted to wear black, because they said this is not a fashion moment anymore. This is a moment in history, a moment in time where everyone, men and women, can stand in solidarity for what's going on. And so I thought it was really amazing and a tribute to all those people who are fighting the good fight and using their voices for good.
Absolutely. So we had some history makers, some record breakers tonight, including Sterling K. Brown, a record that probably should have been broken a long time ago. But let's talk a little bit about this show that keeps on just racking up those nominations, Big Little Lies, you guys. Oh, yes!
We've been fans for a very long time.
Yes.
Don't you feel like they've been in the award circuit just for a very long time? The Emmys first, Golden Globes are headed to the SAG Awards, all deserving. And of course, Nicole Kidman, another amazing speech. She kicked off the night, actually.
Nicole Kidman had the first speech of the night, winning Best Actress. And I just don't think Nicole Kidman can make a misstep in a speech. Head to etonline.com where we'll really break down Nicole's speech. But I mean, she thanked her daughters, her mother, her husband, people who she works with, the director, the producers, her co-stars and fellow producers like Reese Witherspoon, and did it all so eloquently. I mean, I cried during Nicole's speech. I cried a couple times tonight.
And you know, I will say about Nicole also, she loves her husband so much, and she saved that last bit of her speech for him. They like to remind me how single I am. Like, they're just so in love, but not just so in love, but the words they have for each other in on moments like that at an award show during an acceptance speech is so touching. You guys, also we talked to them on the red carpet. Cute as can be, of course, but here's a little glimpse of what we can expect from Big Little Lies Season 2, courtesy of Nicole.
I mean, for us right now, this is about Big Little Lies. This is about celebrating what we did for so many. I mean, it took a number of years to get this project made, and to have had the fans and the audience react in the way that they have.
Gosh, crazy, right?
Will a second series, literally because of the audience's desire. We went, oh my gosh, we got to scramble and try and get this together if we want to do a season 2. And we all kind of put our heads together and went, yeah, let's try to do it. But that was because of the audiences and the critical response to this show.
Yeah, I think I was embarrassingly begging you last award ceremony.
So we went, okay, let's do it. And hopefully we will create more opportunities for women. I mean, I'm going back to work on Tuesday with a female director. So there's also a female GP, a first assistant director who's female. So in that sense, you know, I'm trying to do my bit.
So,
they're doing their bit.
She's doing her bit.
Yeah, she's doing her bit.
So Big Little Lies Season 2 has been so talked about for so many reasons. One, because there was even some controversy around the show, people saying, well, why is it nominated as a limited series? But the creator said, hey, we didn't know it was going to get a second season when we were figuring all this out. So I talked to the director, Jean-Marc Vallée, on the red carpet, and I said to him, why did you do this to me, that you are not directing the second season? Because I've talked to Nicole Kidman before, and she said he just brings this cinematic quality to the series. And he said he's really busy with his new show, Sharp Objects, and also he's still going to be a producer, so he's going to be still part of things, still bringing that same Big Little Lies tone that we loved about the show.
But clearly it's because Nicole says that they're also reaching out to a lot of females to direct it, to write it. They have a DP who's female. I'm also hoping that they actually introduce some new characters and we get some other actresses, you know, maybe some of their friends. I know Naomi Watts has talked about how she would love to play with them on Big Little Lies Season 2, so here's holding out for that.
By the way, I pressed Jean-Marc Vallée for some spoilers, and he wouldn't give me any, except for one, which will be up at etonline.com soon. I'm teasing you guys with that. He gave me a Season 2 spoiler that made me a little bit shaky. So Clay Bryce, more comments from you guys are coming in. Clay says he was upset the Post didn't win anything, but here's hoping for the Oscars. You want to take a couple of these?
Oh my God, Cereal Burrito. First off, you have a great Twitter handle. He says Kyle MacLachlan was robbed. You know, Twin Peaks at least got in there with that nomination, you know, with its revival. But you know, they all can't be winners. In fact, there were quite a few snubs and surprises this year, don't you think?
I mean, the Post was kind of funny because you think Spielberg, Streep, Hanks.
And during Seth Meyers' monologue, when he mentioned the Post and Spielberg and Hanks and Streep, the Globes came out. He's like, no, not yet, not yet, not yet.
Make a little joke about it.
You know, but they did not walk away with one. Did not happen.
Saucebots2 says it was a good show. Agreed. So let's get into some of these snubs and surprises. And want to remind you guys, E.T. is backstage. So we're talking to the winners right when they come off the carpet. Right now, we're also going to be at all the after parties, so you can check that out at etonline.com and tomorrow night on ET, of course, to get all the BTS. But the snubs and surprises. First of all, a lot of wins for 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri, which I think is a surprise.
I think it was a surprise, especially because if you guys watched our preview, we predicted that Shape of Water would take it. That did not happen.
Shape of Water had the most nominations.
Had the most nominations. Had a lot of momentum going into this race. But 3 billboards took it. Frances McDormand walked away with the Best Actress trophy. I watched it. It's a very amazing movie. I think I was surprised it won based on the love that the HFPA, who votes for the Golden Globes, has previously given Guillermo del Toro, the director of Shape of Water. That being said, I'm like, I think they did kind of spread the love. I think a lot of people were surprised 3 billboards won Best Screenplay and not Lady Bird.
And Sam Rockwell also won for 3 billboards.
Right.
What can be amazing about this awards show love that's unexpected is that a really good movie then gets more eyes on it, because, you know, now everybody's seeing that it's getting these awards and maybe you go and check it out. And Frances McDormand's speech towards the end of the night there when she won Best Actress in a Motion Picture Drama was hilarious. I mean, she just got up there, pretty casual about it, thanks her cowboys, Woody and Sam, and she said the women in the room are not here for the food, they're here for the work. And that was another amazing moment.
I love that.
So 3 billboards, definitely a little bit of a surprise, and those surprises always lead to what people to consider to be snubs. Another snub, not to do with 3 billboards, but Gary Oldman won, and a lot of people said that Call Me By Your Name star Timothy Chalamet should have won in there.
You
agree?
I'm gonna agree. He was robbed. I think he's robbed. Well, that being said, you know, Timothy this is his breakthrough year. He's got many years ahead. He's got time to collect that Globe. Gary Oldman, on the other hand, has been around for a while. He's finally getting some due for his performance in The Darkest Hour. So I'm while I feel Timothy was robbed, I'm also not surprised that they're honoring Gary in this way. He might even take it all the way to the Oscars. It's, you know, that they're kind of honoring his career in that sense. You know, they always do that. Kate Winslet finally won a Golden Globe after what, like 20 nominations?
It took a minute.
It took a minute, yeah.
No, Timothy's performance has been so critically acclaimed. There's a funny little viral moment, if you guys want to check it out on Twitter, when Timothy Chalamet seemingly realizes that Tonya Harding was sitting next to him, and he's like, oh, that's Tonya Harding.
You know what? Speaking of Tonya Harding, there were a lot of movies, a lot of biopics about real people, and they were actually in the room. So Tonya Harding was one of them. Another surprise tonight was after James Franco won for The Disaster Artist. He brought up the real Tommy Wiseau to the stage, who, by the way, was trying to jack the mic from James Franco, if you guys missed it.
Kanye moment.
And James, he hugged him, and no, not yet. I have some things to say, and it kind of prevented that, like, mic act, you know, that Kanye moment to happen.
Yeah.
But it was awesome.
Tommy was walking the red carpet, having his moment, and I heard him say to a lot of people, he said, you know, I think James did a good job with this movie. He was the perfect person to play the part. So it's awkward when the real people are in the room sometimes.
I live for those moments during the Golden Globes, though. You know, we kind of needed that levity. I was cracking up. I love that.
I mean, if you guys haven't seen I, Tonya yet, by the way, Allison Janney won tonight. And she told me on the carpet that this part was actually written for her, like with her in mind, even though it's a real world part. Her friend who's a writer wrote the part thinking she could play this. And they had been trying to work together for so long. She teared up in our interview because she said, finally, I got to work with him, and all of this has come out of it. I, Tonya was like start to finish made in less than a year or something crazy like that. So that movie has been this awards show, I don't know, blockbuster, or kind of just moving bus out of nowhere, and it's really been awesome to see.
Especially a movie like that with such a small budget. It's moments like this that really get a lot more people in those seats. People are going to see that movie, and you know, Allison Janney actually mentioned how she shot her part, which she won tonight as well, shot her part in 8 days. 8 days.
It's crazy.
It's kind of incredible to watch, though, and I loved I, Tonya. That was so good. That was so funny. That was great.
Again, guys, please let us know what you thought. If there were any movies you wanted to see get more awards, we see the post in there for Clay, or any movies that you thought really, really deserved the accolades they got tonight. You talked about Lady Bird, people being surprised that didn't win a little more. And again, we said people were surprised Greta Gerwig did not get nominated, but it was great to see her get up there and have her moment for Best Comedy, right?
Yes, correct.
Yes, so Lady Bird winning Best Comedy, and Greta was so flustered and overwhelmed, and you could tell this was such a personal project.
It was her directorial debut, and also was such a personal story, something she related to. She's from Sacramento, and it's kind of nice to see those little indie darlings walk across that stage and accept trophies like that, you know?
Yeah.
It was awesome. Such a
Well,
fun
guys,
show.
we are going to wrap it down here, but again, I just want to say overall, I thought it was such an authentic night. For it being the 75th Golden Globes, what a great night to bring up this Time's Up movement, to bring up women and diversity, and everybody felt so genuine, felt so emotional, and I think you could really tell, even through our screens, we could tell there was an energy in the room.
And I have to admit, I wasn't sure about what the energy in that room would be. I thought the tone would be a little more down, but you know what? It was a nice balance, and more than anything, I walked away feeling empowered watching that award show. So I think Golden Globes are really setting the tone for the rest of this award season, so we'll see what happens when it all goes down. Of course, etonline.com will be tracking all of these award shows up into the Oscars, you guys. It's going to be a busy quarter.
This is only the beginning.
This is only the beginning.
Yes, again, head to etonline.com for behind-the-scenes moments, including, if you haven't seen it yet, Tom Hanks with a tray of martinis for his table, guys. The Globes has the booze in the room, so the fun is brought.
Man after my own heart.
So behind-the-scenes moments at etonline.com. We are literally still at the after parties, like HBO's big after party, interviewing people, tracking them down. We're in the room, seeing everything that's really going on. So we're going to bring that all to you guys and watch tomorrow night on ET for the deets as well.
And thank you guys for tuning in today. All right, we're out. Good night.
Good night.